Conference. Because we are God-fearing party, I would ask Honorable Chaponda to lead us in prayer, then we proceed on with the press briefing.
Let us pray. O Heavenly Father, the Almighty God, we come before you at this time of the day to thank you for the gift of life, to thank you for all the good things that you do for us, and to thank you for having made it possible for these journalists and ourselves to come here today to interact. And we thank you that our President also, you have allowed him to be with us in order to share with the journalists issues of importance to the nation. We pray that the Holy Spirit should guide and be with us as we deliberate, and that you will grant us wisdom, and that whatever is discussed will be for the best interest of the nation. We give all these things to Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Kuchokera kuno ku Page House ndi kumeneko ndi ku Mangochi, kumeneko ndi ku nyumba ya mtsogoleri wakale wa dziko lino Peter Mutharika, kumene akuchititsa msonkhano wa Nkhani. Msonkhano umene umayenera kuyamba tuloko koma wachedwerako pang'ono. Ndiye panopo mtsogoleri wakale wa dziko lino wafika kale kutsogoloko, ndipo ali ndi atsogoleri ena a chipani chimenechi cha DPP amene akuyendetsa mwambo umenewu. Ndi achimwemwe chipungu mmodzi mwa akuluakulu a chipani cha DPP. Tiyeni timvere zimene zikuchitika kumeneko.
Regional Governor North, Honorable Hakim Mwanza, and Regional Governor Central, Honorable David Kambalame. I welcome you all to this afternoon's press conference. As a matter of protocol, Your Excellency, we shall start with self-introductions so that we should know who is here. I am Chimwemwe Chipungu, your National Organizing Secretary, and I'll be the Director of Ceremonies. Thank you.
I'm George Chaponda, member of the National Governing Council, member of Parliament from Mlange Southwest. Thank you.
Thank you, Excellency. I'm Zodiak, Vice President, Central Region. Thank you.
Thank you, Excellency. My name is Mimurani Tenge, the Regional Governor for the East Democratic Progressive Party, Excellency.
Thank you, Your Excellency. My name is Hakim Mwanza. I'm Regional Governor for the Northern Region of DPP.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I'm Saulos Chilima, Regional Governor for House and the Member of Parliament for Saulos West.
Thank you, Excellency. My name is David Kambalame, Regional Governor, DPP Central.
My name is Christy Kwagwanji from WFM.
Your Excellency, I'm John H. Bulumbi, that was nine.
My name is Johannes Simon. I'm a journalist with Times.
Your Excellency, my name is George Hambo, representing Rainbow Television. Thank you.
Your Excellency, my name is Amba Kangolo. I'm representing Nation Communication Limited.
Your Excellency, I am Chisomo Gray from NBC.
Your Excellency, my name is Hassan Piri for MPC.
Your Excellency, my name is Malawi representing Zodiak.
Your Excellency, my name is Innocent Humbo from HFM Radio.
Your Excellency, my name is Precious Marema, representing Galaxy FM.
Your Excellency, my name is Emmanuel Mutore from BBC Region.
Your Excellency, my name is Kero Brigeti and I work for Radio Islam.
Your Excellency, my name is Titus Lindsay, representing the United Radio.
Your Excellency, I'm Rafa Blazio from Zodiak.
Your Excellency, I'm Blessing Skymira. However, simply and really.
Matters Nagasu Zodiak.
Thank you, members, for the self-introduction. At this point in time, Your Excellency, let me call you to welcome us and also to give us your opening remarks in the form of a statement. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Honorable Jipongo, National Organizing Secretary, my colleagues in the DPP, also to welcome you, members of the press. I'm surprised that there's no lady here, so I think we have a problem here of gender discrimination. I think next time we should do better and have some female representation. But when I'm also, no, I think there's a lady over there. Oh, that's ours. Oh, okay. Anyway, let me welcome you to Page House. As I already said before, in Spanish, Mi casa, su casa. My house is your house. So feel at home. We decided to have this press conference because we haven't talked to the Malawi people for a long time. As you know, we can't hold rallies now because of the COVID. So we decided that we need to meet you. I think this is the third press conference. In the future, we'll try to have these press conferences every month, once a month, so that we can communicate to Malawi people. Also, this month marks a year of the Tonse Alliance government. So I thought as a party, we also comment on that. The procedure being, I'll read a long statement. After my statement, my colleagues here, in front of the table, they also make speeches according to their specialties. We also have the 4 regional governors and honorable in charge. Regional governors are really the real owners of the party, together with the district governors, because they're there with the people. They know the needs of the people. So honorable in charge will be speaking for the party, but on behalf of the regional governor. After that, there will be questions. So first, let me read this. Now, this statement is a public letter from the DPP to the President of the Malawi Congress Party, Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, and his government. The DPP has found it compelling to address the President and his government because Malawians have been pushed to a point of suffering beyond endurance. The following are the matters and concerns that we address the President and his government. 1, there's lack of policy and loss of leadership direction. We are gravely concerned that 1 year has ended without any policy direction from the government. Every day, things are getting worse because there is no leadership in this country. As a result, the country is being destroyed fast, and nobody is telling us where we're taking this country and the 18 million people that we carry. 2, Malawi's diplomatic crisis in the region. The DPP and all Malawians who love our country are worried that within 1 year, Malawi is in serious diplomatic crisis in the region. We have aggrieved the Republic of South Africa, which is our #1 trading and strategic partner in the region. Malawi is now being viewed in the region with suspicion and is fast losing respect as a nation. This is dangerous for our country because we need the support of our neighbors for us to access ports, get fuel and drugs in this country, and maintain trade with our partners. We therefore urge Dr. Lazarus Chakwera and his government to address the diplomatic problems we have created in South Africa and play a supportive role in Mozambique. Malawi is a landlocked country and we need our neighbors. Number 3, the economy is fast collapsing and the cost of living is rising. We are concerned that the economy is hurting Malawians and people are failing to afford basic living. Every man can see that in 1 year, the country has drastically worsened with a critical shortage of forex, plummeting revenue, over-expenditure, excessive local borrowing, and a falling wage. As a result, prices are rising out of control, and every Malawian is suffering more than before. The DPP kept the quota and prices of commodities stable for 6 years when we were in the government. Today, government, we're wondering why the Malawi government is failing to do the same. Zinthu zakwera kwambiri, zinthu zakwera ndi chakwera. Number 4, theft of public funds and disregard of accountability. Just before we left office, the DPP government left 6.2 billion kwacha disbursed from the Reserve Bank for addressing various COVID-19 challenges, including paying social cash transfer to empower vendors and urban small-scale businesses who would be affected by the pandemic and this regulation. Instead, they are arresting and persecuting civil servants to divert attention from the real thieves and culprits who gave the instructions and shared the money. Further, the current government disbursed 17 billion kwacha, which has also been stolen by the same people who are refusing to tell Malawians where the 17 billion has gone. We have an existing office of the Auditor General whose officers are being paid to do their job every month. Why does the government not use them to audit the 17 billion kwacha? The Tonsi government accused the DPP of theft, but up to this day, the government cannot quote any amount of money which the DPP government and its officials stole from the treasury. In fact, the DPP never stole any money from the treasury. In less than 1 year, everyone knows that the Chakwera government and Tosi Alliance government have stolen 23 billion kwacha that was intended to save Malawians from the COVID pandemic. This 23 billion does not include other corrupt transactions and systematic plan outside the COVID funds. Malawians now know who the real thieves are in this country. Dr. Chakwera, you called me Prince of Thieves. You are now the King of Thieves. Number 5, development has stopped in the country. We have noticed there are no development projects happening except a few continuations of DPP projects. Our fear is that Malawi Congress Party has no agenda for developing this country. We know that for 31 years, MCP failed to develop this country because they are preoccupied with persecuting Malawians more than developing this country. The same trend is now coming again. We can all see that this MCP is focusing on arresting people, oppressing Kabaza riders, and bringing oppressive tax laws that are killing small businesses instead of focusing on developing this country. This is very troubling because The only reason any government goes in power is to develop the country and the lives of the people. And as such, any political party without an agenda for development does not deserve to stay in office. The Chakwera government has not come up with any development project after 1 year. All projects that I'm inspecting are the projects that the DPP started. Whether it's roads, electricity, the M1 road for Rumbas to Chiwata and Rumpi, the second backbone project, the Longway energy project, Salima, Bengu, Kotakota, Golomoti, Mwakbe, all are projects that the Malawi government, the DPP government started, including, for example, the factories in Salima, cotton, and also a sugar factory, and also the Grand Park in Ongwe. All those programs were started by the DPP government. So this government, after 1 year, has not come up with a single project. Even the so-called 2063 vision, that was started by my government. In fact, the National Planning Commission was created by my government. And it's the one that, in fact, envisioned the 2063 project. I'm glad they're accepting our vision, but we hope that one day they'll come up with a vision which is different. When you're in government, you're always saying that the country is going in the wrong direction. For 6 years, I said, if we're actually going the wrong direction, tell me the right direction. Not once did they come up with anything. Now they're adopting the same project that they say we're wrong direction. Our projects, they're adopting them because they have nothing to offer. As I said in the campaign, the choice we did was between choosing development and vision or going back to Ndali. Now you can see what's happening. I told you so. Malawians are not complaining, they're suffering. There is cancer, poverty in this country. I told you, put a face in the face, Samasinta. Face in the face, Kapiri in the face, and Malawi Congress Party will never change. It's a party, it's a part of persecution, Kipanics and cancer. I told you so. Persecution of the people. Number 6, we have noted with grave concern that the Malawi Congress Party and government has resumed its repressive tactics of dictatorship, which Malawians fought and conquered in 1994. We are seeing new repressive laws, legitimization of oppression, which is dangerous because Malawi will soon become a dictatorship by law. The MC government has abandoned the rule of law and resumed arbitrary use of power to persecute people whom they find to be political threats. A classic example, for example, the decision of the Chakwera government to freeze my assets, for example. I did not order the cement, and they know that very well. But instead of freezing the assets, the bank accounts of the businessman who ordered the cement, they froze my account. Why? That's persecution, if ever there was one. Number 7, election case. We want to explain to our supporters and all Malawians who love this country that our petitioned the cause to nullify the 2020 presidential election because the government itself has told us that the Malawi Electoral Commission was legal at the time, oversaw the election, and endorsed Dr. Chakwera as winner. The DPP continues to remind Malawians that the DP government, the MCP government, is oppressing and persecuting Malawians, collapsing the economy, causing suffering, trying to evolve this country, and displaying lack of leadership and policy direction is a government that robs power and came into power with the help of the courts. As such, we continue to fight for justice, to solve the oppression of Malawians, and also rescue Malawi from destruction. This government came to power because of conspiracy, the MCP, HRGC, and the courts. A prominent member of the English bar has written, quote, that what happened in Malawi was a judicial coup. That instead of getting justice, Dpp got the poets of justice. This is exactly what I mean. We got the poets of justice, but this government came into power illegally. The so-called Constitutional Court considered that the election was not rigged, and two, that the irregularities do not affect the outcome of the election. And yet, they went ahead and nullified. Why? We know that the conspiracy started in 2017, but not discovered there are many players were part of changing the DPP government. It's a long-drawn conspiracy in which there are many members, the courts, my Congress Party, civil societies, and others that are not mentioned. In the case of election, in the central region, our monitors were beaten, chased, but allowed to observe, monitor the elections. When they're gone, that's when they rigged masterfully the elections. Now, what somebody said, why do you need to go to court? We decided not to go to court because we knew that we would not get justice from the very court that committed an injustice. The election case was a travesty, if ever there was one. It was a miscarriage of justice. So this government is illegal and illegitimate. Boma eri, la Boza, la Chwembu, la Nkanza, la Upandu. Boma limeli choke because it's illegal. Because it's illegal. Malawi, Mwerenge, book of Daniel, chapter 5, Module 5, Ndime 25. I know I'm son of one church, I know that verse, because it was causing the Bible. Nebuchadnezzar, anali mfumo ipokambi. Desikuya anapa koma, chala kubwera. Uneba koma kuti mene take ufarasini. Ukumbi azmezo? Pachinyanja nkuti, mwaesido pa mweso, ndimwapiza kuti mwapelewela. Ufumwanu, uzagawidwa, pakati pa medi ndi aperesi. Ne abusa Chakwera, kuti mwalepera, mwaeso pa mweso, mwapelewela, ufumwanu, uzagawidwa, kuti DPP ndi UDF. Ziko mkambi, God bless.
Thank you, Your Excellency. All protocols observed. For me, I just want to add a few things to what His Excellency the President, the former President has said, but the President of our party, Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika. What I want to say is what I also said in Parliament, that there is in Latin, they say, pacta sunt servanda, which means when agreements have been made, they have to be kept. In the Bible, you go, the President has taught me, because you have heard him quoting from the Bible, I might as well also follow. In the Bible, you go to Deuteronomy 29, a pact agreement was made by God with the people, that if you do these things and follow my commandments, you will be rich, you will do this, and your things will be multiplied. The Tonse Alliance came out with a promise to the Malawians. There will be no fuel prices. You heard it. you'll get 1 million jobs. You'll find that the price of commodities will be lower than what it is. They even said there's no COVID. What has happened? You heard it already from the former president and the president of our party. The 1 million jobs never materialized. And when they did not materialize, the people said, well, we might as well take initiative on our own. And what did they do? The Kabaza people, they went and bought motorbikes. Having bought the motorbikes, what has happened? The police officers were ordered to go and arrest them. They arrest these people, they take their motorbikes, they throw them on the top of vehicles, they send them to different places. And when the time comes to go and collect these motorbikes, they say they have to pay 160,000 kwacha. Is this fair? 2, there is a problem in terms of COVID. We were told that there is no COVID, and that delayed the whole process. Instead of reacting to it, they said, you forget about it. The Tonse Alliance, this is the time that they have to apologize at the highest level to the Malawi nation. You have already heard what has happened to the funds that were given, COVID funds. Corruption of the highest moment. The things which they said, they were accusing DPP. Have you seen their situation? They start COVID 6.2. They just scratched a little bit and leave it there. Then we have got the other one again. Is it 17? 23 billion. That one is also just scratched, just being said for the sake of it. Ngati mwana ango pasidwa gati kupakidwa pakamwa porridge azisonyeza kuti wadya kunamiza Malawi. Number 3, is there justice here? The Justice Department, they have come out with the policy that there will be contracts for judges. Now, if judges will be appointed on contracts, what does it mean? That means that they have to decide favorable to them. If somebody decides unfavorably, that means the contract will be renewed? No. This does not happen anywhere except Malawi. It's no good. 4, there is the problem of this MADEF loans. The MADEF loan now is called NIF. It's called NIF. If you look at the amount of money which is being dispersed, over 8 billion, but who has got that? There's nepotism, there's all sorts of things. Let me not forget also to talk about nepotism. You heard about the cabinet of Chakwera, the President Chakwera. It has never been replaced. Others have died, whatever. This is an issue which is of concern. The other thing is, which I should not forget, the schools. In the school, there's supposed to be one teacher at the most to 60 pupils, or 40 to 60. But you go to the schools here, it is one teacher to 200 students. Do you think the standard of education will improve in Malawi? It cannot improve. And why is it they are doing that when they are already qualified teachers who have not been employed? They are around about 8,500, if I'm not mistaken. This shows that the policy which they are saying that they want to revamp the education in the country will not go anywhere. Even when they say they want to compulsory education, how do you have compulsory education when already the student-pupil ratio is high? The pupil-teacher ratio is high. And how do you have compulsory education when you don't have the structures in place? I am just echoing what the president has already said, that the situation in the country is not good. Let me also mention that there's continuous arrest of people from the southern and eastern region using trumped up and fabricated charges. A very vicious and terrifying trade has emerged where sons and daughters of Malawi from east and southern regions of Malawi that have been working in different but many governmental organizations and agencies are in a deliberate, shameful manner being arrested before the alleged criminal investigations are carried out and are effectively concluded by the state. Furthermore, whereby these sons and daughters of eastern and southern regions, once arrested by police, are overstaying in police cells before bail is granted, are thereby planned, arrested always closer to the weekend so that they spend more time, including the weekend, in police cells with zero possibility of police bail. Is this the canon which they promised Malawians? I should also not forget, Malawi has become a police state with so many human rights abuses, and yet government, local and international organizations and media have remained quiet. Follow-up with police officers on bail issues has revealed that police from time to time are directed to victimize the targeted vehicles and break the 48-hour rule. Sadly, this trend has eroded away all the gains Malawi police gained in its reforms as a service, as it has reverted into a police force. As DPP, we are informed that there are impending arrests of people from the southern and eastern region simply awaiting parliament to rise. This trend in political persecution shows the determination of the Tonse government to victimize Malawians from diverse political divide. We are becoming more aware of NSP government wishful thinking that this country can revert to the one-party system. Okay? I should also not forget what I also said in Parliament. I repeat, that in Takataka police station is now being used as a place to train MCP youth cadres. They are going in batches of 71. What is the aim? Do they want that we should go to the one-party state where we are being victimized by the young pioneers? Some of us had to run away from this country to go outside the country because of the harshness of the young pioneers and so on. I leave by now. Thank you.
Thank you, Excellency. Just as my colleague has just left in, my duty is to support what Excellency has come up with in issues concerning the status of the government now. And my focus will mainly touch on women's situation or women's status in the country. I start with women empowerment programs which DPP did. First of all, DPP wanted the government that ensured people believe in themselves and took full control of their destiny as they fully participated in development processes of their country, Malawi. That was one of the objectives of DPP. As such, they did put women empowerment in order to raise the status of women through education awareness, literacy and trainings in order to close gender gaps that had existed there before. And some of the programs which the DPP government had put in place are as follows. 1, MEDEF. DPP made it a point that women needed to do their own small businesses. As such, they needed support, economic support from the government. So in order to achieve that, they came up with this program of MEDEF, which is small interest loans, which were given to small business women, which were doing, so that at a certain point in time, they could return that those loans back to MEDEF. And this program is no longer in place now. As such, women are starving, women are suffering because they are staying without even doing their small businesses which were developed during the DPP government. Subsidy programs. This was a program in agriculture. DPP made it a point that each family, mostly, as you know, women are the caretakers of families. They had to make sure that they had food sufficiency. And in order for women to make sure that they had enough food in their families, the government of DPP made it a point that they were given subsidy programs which comprised of cheaper fertilizers and other programs which were suitable for farming for women who did not manage to have very big monies as some would have. And such kind of programs today have been reduced, if at all there are any. What we've noted is there are such expensive fertilizers which women cannot even manage. And as such, it means women empowerment in economy has been reduced. Maternal awareness. DPP government made it a point that they had put in place this program and this body of safe motherhood. This department made it a point that women were being controlled in safe motherhood. This made it a point that women could manage to take care of their children, or when they were expecting a baby, they managed to take care of that baby or even the pregnancy. And this also managed for small girls to control in their pregnancies, which it made it healthy living of women and their children. And this was a special program done in the Department of Safe Motherhood. There were college amici. You know, for women to manage issues, they needed to be imparted with skills. And such skills were the DPP government made it a point that colleges were close to the communities. As such, they had put colleges right where the people are found in the villages, not in town as it has been a long time back. But now, I can assure you, those colleges are now getting closed, and I don't think they are being used anymore. As such, women who had started their skills trainings have stopped on the way, and this is very, very bad in developing the country in as far as women is concerned. In politics, you may remember from 2005 to date, to the time when DPP got out of government, the winning rate of women was very high. As such, it made it a point that women took very big positions in government, positions like ministers, positions like directors, because they could, the winning rate was very high during that time, which is completely different now. Very few women are in parliament today, and this is a sign that there is very little support for women empowerment in order to close the gaps between men and women. And we have education. This point is very important. The DPP government put in place programs which were good for girls. You know, some girls would get out of school because they were expecting a baby. And the DPP government put it a point that once the baby is born, this child is a small girl, she can go back to school. More girls went back to school. They completed their schools, even though they had some children, but they completed their schools because there were programs which allowed girls to go back to school when they had been disturbed with such pregnancies. And such kind of programs are no longer today. We would urge, as it is, that women are the pillars of the nation. And we would want women to be considered in developments just as good as DPP government was doing. And today, most of the people, women in particular, are crying because they need the support which they were getting from the DPP government. Excellencies, sir, thank you. Everybody, thank you.
Zikomo kwambiri, Your Excellency. Pa ground paterera anthu akuonera pano bwana akuita kupempha kuti ayi munene mchichewa chifukwa chokuti ife tikufuna tiamve a profesa komanso tikufuna tilumikizane nanu malingana ndi zimene zikuchitika. Ndiye kuyambira ine mpaka na ena amata yankhulewa tinena mchichewa, komanso bwana tikupempheni kuti mukamatsekera mutsekere mchichewa. Ine ndifuna ndinenepo za achinyamata. Achinyamata Malawi muno tikulira chifukwa tinalandira malonjezano abodza kunena kuti kukhala ntchito zokwana 1 miliyoni zomwe atipatse ifeyo. Lalero mnyamata wina aliyense amene skulu amaliza, amene ali kunyumba akukukuta mano kuti tinasankha molakwika. Ife a DPP mene tinkalowa mboma 2014 tinali ndi manifesto yathu. Mukayang'ana page 74 ya manifesto yathu tikukamba kunena kuti mnyamata timpase mphamvu, timpase maphunziro. Tinapanga plan kuti timanga ma college 193 kuthandiza kuti constituency ina iliyonse kukhala technical college kapena community college. Mene timachoka mboma tinaitamanga ma college 14 omwe magwira ntchito kale, komanso ena 14 amamangidwa. Ifeyo a DPP kufuna kunena kuti achinyamata aja asangokhala kumuzi. Alipo ena skuli inavuta koma ali ndi nzeru akuzokhala makalipentala, maplamba ndi zoterozo. Aliponso ena amene anapita ku college koma ntchito zikutani zikusowa, kandi University of Malawi, kandi Polytechnic, kandi kubunda. Amene ajawo timafuna kuti apite m'makoleji mene mucha akaphunzire zina ndi zina kuti nawonso alembe ntchito anzawo. Boma lokha sitingakwanise kulemba achinyamata. Anyamata ena ambiri omwe anapita ku makoleji amenewa lero ndi anthu olemera akulembanso anzawo ntchito. Professor Peter Muthalika ndi chipani cha DPP tinalenanso kuti timanga ma secondary school 250. Malawi muno muli maboma 29. Kuthandiza kuti maboma ena amakhala ndi ma secondary school awiri kapena atatu. Ndiye kuti umbuli uja watha umatha Malawi muno. Komanso tinanena kuti ziko lomwe anthu sakudwala limakhala ziko la mtendere kapena ziko la chuma. Malawi muno timange zipatala zing'ono zokwana 250. Mwamva mayi chakale akunena kuti azimayi akufa chifukwa cha uchembere, kuti munthu ayende 20 km akabereke zikumavuta, azimayi akhala kumwalira. 2014 imene ifeyo timalowa mboma DPP pa azimayi okwana 687 mu 100,000 amoyo amamwalira. Kuyambira 2014 mpaka 2017 ifeyo tinatsisa chiwerengero chija kufika pa 349. Anzathuwa IMCP chaka chatha mu parliament mu university set ife tinali pa 349 mu zaka zitatu. Iwo akuti mu 2022 afika pa 350. Kutanthauza kuti mu 4 years angochosa ndika chani kaperesendo chikamozi. Chaka chino abwera mu parliament kupereka speech inso sakutiuza kuti kodi 1 year imene yasalayi progress yake ndi yotani. Lero akubwera kunena kuti atimangira zipatala zokwana 900. Zomveka zimenezo? Amalawi ndife anthu amene tanamizidwa. Amalawi tinanamizidwa zambiri zomwe sizikuchitika. DPP timapanga zomwe timakulonjezani. Nkhani ya maphunziro kunapangidwa bungwe lomwe anapanga ndi Professor Peter Mutharika ndi chipani cha DPP, National Youth Development Services. Kumene kuja timapereka mphamvu kwa achinyamata. Anyamata inu tengani mbewu, tengani mitengo, mukazala mulanda kanga chepe. Komanso mukazala ndiye kuti tikuonjezera chilengedwe chomwe chimabweretsa chuma kuziko. Kunala achinyamata ena amene anali kothekera koma ndalama analibe. Tinayambisa National Loans Board. Koma achinyamata amapita kukatenga ngongole kumaphunzira. Komanso akamaliza skuli ija asanalembedwe ntchito tinayambisa program ngati mati internship. Ndipo anyamata amenewa okwana 2500 analembedwa ndi ndalama zochokera ku African Development Bank. Anyamata okwana 3500 analembedwa ntchito ndi kuchokera mu Ministry of Labor. Kutanthauza kuti sitimangonena ya tikanena kuti tikufuna tipereke mphamvu kwa chinyamata timachitadi. Lero makampani akutsekedwa, ena mwamva kuti Barclays kunzuzu atseka. Kutanthauza kuti mabanja akunzuzu, akunzimba, akunorth akuvutika chifukwa makampani akutsekedwa. Kodi anyamata inu mesa tinkanena kuti madefu iyi tikupasani ngongole? Anthuso ankalandira ngongole kulikonse ungapite madefu. Koma lero anthu akuti kuli nifu akamba onlabo chaponda kunena kuti ndalama zikutuluka koma amene akutenga ndalama sakutani sakuoneka. Kutanthauza kuti ife achinyamatafe awatonse government apitiriza kutiponderezabe. Koma nthawi yasala pang'ono kuti chipani cha DPP chibwererenso mboma tikusamaleni ndi zomwe tinakulonjezani chifukwa ife tinasanamalize ya. Tinkanena kuti khala mboma mpaka na 2084 koma anthu ansanje, anthu akaduka anapanga kutiranda boma. Chifukwa ife chisango sitinaluze ya koma tinalandidwa boma. Bwanji mutikhulupirirenso, mukhulupirire chipani cha DPP kuti ndi chokhacho chomwe chingakusamalira na chinyamata. Zikomo kwambiri.
Your Excellency, the President of the mighty DPP, all protocol observed. Bwana, tabula ndi uthenga kuchokera ku zigawo zonse zinayi za dziko la Malawi, kuchokera ku Karonga, ku Rumphi, ku Lilongwe, kuno ku Eastern Region, kupita ku Nsanje, makamaka ku mavuto amene yayambika mdziko muno. Nkhani imene yabwera pano ni nkhani yachamwaka imene yayambikanso mdziko muno, nkhani ya msonkho umene anthu amagona nawo mtchire mu nthawi ya ulamuliro wa chipani chimodzi. Bwana, panopa kumudzi anthu akulira, munayika policy mdziko muno yabwino
yoona kwakuti anyamata anu azitha kukagula magalimoto kunja, kukagula njinga tikubweretsa mziko muno, mabweretsa makatundu osiyanasiyana. Koma pano tikukamba pano anthu aku area 18, anthu aku Blantyre, anthu aku Chikwawa kudyeratu atipasira uthenga ife regional governor anu kuti tikuwuzeni inu ngati mtsogoleri amene munali ndi mapolicies abwino oziwa anthu osauka akumudzi kuti kodi anthu akumudzi moyo wawo ukhala otani kapena akhala otani. Lero tikuyankhula pano fuelo wakwera pene mafotokozera muja, mafuta ophikira akwera mitengo, malomo sisa mafuta ophikira asisa mowa. Andizikumvesa chisoni kuyankhula kwache anthu akumanena kuti bomali ndi boma limene likusogoleredwa ni mbusa, komano zikumvesa chisoni kuti malo mokasisa mafuta ophikira asisa mowa. Tikhulupirira kuti munaposachedwa pa Mkhristu ayese amba kumwa mowa chifukwa ndi chakudya chokhacho chimene chasika mtengo Malawi. Bwana anyamata akulira mwamvera ku parliament 2-3 days kuti bwana usanagule katundu kunja uzikhomera tu msonkho. Chimodzimodzi kumuuza mzimayi kuti uli ni mimba mwana asanabadwe akhomere tu msonkho. Katundu akamachoka ku China, ku South Africa, ku Tanzania kumakhala ma risk osiyanasiyana amene anthu aku 18 adandaula, anthu aku Abiwi adandaula, anthu aku Machasi adandaula, anthu aku Blantyre adandaula kuti katundu uja mwina uli mkati mwa njira umachita ngozi galimoto kuphwanyika, mwina uli mkati mwa njira abalinyero amakhoza kugwira shipija ndi kuiba ndi kubamo katundu yese, komanso uli mkati mwa njira truck yonse ya katundu imakhoza kuyaka moto. Kodi ndalama zimenezo zizabwezedwa motani zimene wakhomera tu munthu msonkho? Anthu akumuzi akulira, komanso zafika poyipa chifukwa dziko la Malawi kuchitukuko linasogola kwambiri makamaka miyoyo ya anthu akumuzi. Anthu agulisa nkhumba zawo, anthu agulisa nkhuku zawo, abakhawo ndi kugula njinga kubweretsa pakhomo. Koma tikuyankhula pano zofisa chisoni kuti akumayenda even makomo mene momo ndi kugogoda ndi kumulanda munthu njinga ali pakhomo pake, zomwe amalawi akulira kwambiri. Andi tinene pano kuti misonzi ya Malawi atipasira mawu kuti akukumbukira mawu amene mmayankhula mu nthawi ya kampeni kuti asankhe kubwalira pambuyo kapena kupita pasogolo. Ndi zimene zikuchitika lero mdziko lino la Malawi. Ndiye uthenga umene atipasira kuti bwana akukulira ni kunjaku anthu kuti no ali pa moto osazimisika chifukwa ndi nkhani ya COVID itayamba mdziko muno munayika mapolise ambirimbiri othandiza kuti munthu wakumuzi athandizike kuchosa misonkho even ma interest ku banki za mbirimbiri munachosa kuti ndi nkhani ya COVID munthu wakumuzi moyo wake ukhale kuti uli pa relief kena kake. Komano lero anzathuwa abwezeresaso china chilichonse chimene inu munachosa nthawi imene ijayo. Banopa kuma banki ma business sakuyenda, komano mukapeza kuti ma interest rates ndi okwera. Komanso tikuyankhula pano kwacha yathu ya gwa kwambiri kumakhala ndi reserved forex mwina ya 6 months 8 months, kwa panopa tikukhala ndi forex ya mwezi umodzi. Komanso pano kwacha yafika kati pa 800 chakuti tili chikhupira kuti posachedwa pa dola iyenera kufika mwina 1000 kwacha, zomwe ikhale burden yaikulu ku Malawi makamaka kwa anthu amene ali mdziko muno. So timafuna tinene kuti anthu anjinga akumudzi, anthu amene amakhulupirira kukacha ndi kuphika msima ndi kudya ali pa mavuto. Tikuyankhula zoti ya dziko lili ndi chakudya chochuluka, ya zinthu bwana nkhani ya chakudya cha dziko munomo pa nkhani ya subsidy kapena nkhani ya kukola chakudya chochuluka ilutu bwana mwachitapo mdziko muno chakudya chimapezeka chochuluka. Koma lero tikuyankhula pano thumba la fertilizer kumuzi lafika 33,000 kwacha, zomwe munthu amene amakhulupirira ulimi sakwanisa kuti akagule thumba la fertilizer 33,000 kwacha kapena 30,000 kwacha. Lero mulimi ali pa mavuto. So zimene bwana ineyo ndi magavana anzanga kuchokera kumuzi, anthu amene tikuyimirira, anthu akukudikirani ikatha COVID, ikachepa COVID, tulukani kuti muonekere anthu akufuna akuoneni chifukwa ku Malawi kuli moto ovuta kuzimisa chifukwa chena kuti anthu a Malawi ali pa mavuto. Munayika maprogramu kumuzi kunali ma food for work kumuzi kuja bwana, anthu amagwira timaganyu kumene kuja kulima kansewu ndi kumapeza moyo wa siku ndi siku. Nkhani za mtukula pa khomo munali ndi maprogramu osiyanasiyana amene anthu kumuzi amathandizika nawo. Lero nkhani za mtukula pa khomo zinatha zimene zija za food for work zinatha zimene zija poyankhula amatiya kubwera mpunga wa plastic ya mpunga omwe koma anthu amadya. Lero bwana mpunga umene jawo sungaonekeso kumuzi sungaonekeso paziko pa. So tikukupemphani bwana chifukwa kunjaku lero titati tikavotenso mutha kubwera kwa mavoti 100%, DPP kabwera ni 100% chifukwa cha mkwiyo umene uli mbiti mwanthu zimene anauzidwa sizikuchitika. Mapassport osika mtengo kulibe, fuel osika uja kulibe, magesi kulumikiza kwa ulere kulibe, zambiri zimene anauzidwa anthu akumuzi sizikuchitikanso. Komanso tipemphe kunena kwa kuti kawiri tikupeza mavuto ifeyo homangidwa kumazunzidwa, ukangopezeka kuti wewe uli kumbali yoti kusapota chipani cha DPP uli pa mavuto ndiwe ndani. Koma tikunena kuti ziko muno mu 1993 tinavotera ufulu wa democracy. Muziko muno muli democracy, aliyense ali ndi ufulu okhala ku chipani chimene afuna, aliyense akhoza kuyankhula amene akufunira malingana ndi ufulu umene lero nthawi imene yoyo. Koma panopa tikubwereranso ku chipani chimodzi, kulamulo chipani chimodzi zomwe zikubwezera zinthuzi mbuyo kapena chitukuko cha ziko mbuyo. So ifeyo taima pano bwana kufuna kuuza mtundu wa Malawi kuti zimene mmachita anthu kumuzi akuzidikira. When the rate of change inside is exceeded by the rate of change outside, the end is near. Thank you, Your Excellency. God bless you. Thank you.
Your Excellency, izo zimene anthu akunena. Ifeyo tangokhala atumiki. Anthu kunjaku bwana akukulirana. Ndipo bwana akanakhala kuti amati titembenuze so nthawi kubwerera pazana bwenzi Malawi ali pabwino. Pa nthawi ino Your Excellency ndimati ndipemphe ana anu awa ndi ana anu awa, ana atati onse wali apa akufuna kufunseni mafunso kuti kodi zinthu zikuyenda bwanji. Ndiyeno mwina tipemphe anthu okwana 5 kuchokera ukuku amene nditamutchule abwere pamene ndayima pano afunse funso ndikubwerera. Ndiye mwina mwache bwana chifukwa cha nthawi tipemphe kuti afunse mafunso onsewo 5 then mpange respond then we wind up. Ndithu bwana zikomo kwambiri. Tiyambe ndi bwana pamusipa. Yes, mwina mungobwera pompa.
Your Excellency, my name is George Muhango from Rainbow Television. I have 3 questions. The first one is to do with the party itself, the DPP. Some quarters have cited
The what?
the DPP, the party itself.
Oh, the party? Okay.
Yes, sure. Some quarters have cited weak opposition, including the infighting in the party itself, as a factor that is leading the Tonse government fail to get it right. What have you to say on that one? The second one is on government indicating that it has spent much in the first year laying a proper foundation from which to take off from, arguing government systems were broken during your time. How would you respond to that one? And the last one, during your time you had pledged to reduce presidential powers and we didn't see that happening. Your predecessors made a similar promise. How difficult and practical can such a process be? Thank you.
Maybe I should answer it?
I think so, yeah.
Because that's for me, it's easier. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Muhango.
from Rainbow. Now, I've heard that. People say that, well, the government is making all these mistakes because there's weak opposition. I think that's complete nonsense. I cannot use the so-called weak opposition as an excuse for policies that are there. They are wrong policies simply because the government cannot get it right. They came into government unprepared. They did not think through about government when they were in opposition. So they came there without any kind of policy, any kind of principles. That's why they don't know where to go. There is no direction. It's not because of a weak opposition. However, I'll concede that the party at some level has been a little bit divided. At the highest level of the party, but at the regional, district, constituency area, the party is intact. Everyone is supporting the party. There's absolutely no question about it. Everyone is supporting the party, but at the highest level, there are some individuals who have their own ideas about how the country should be run, or how the party should be organized, or how conventions should be held. But that's internal, and it's something that we're going to take care of. We're working on that. We have the Constitutional Review Committee has just reported. Some of you have seen partial report. It's a very comprehensive, detailed report. We're studying it, and very soon the Central Committee will meet to discuss it, and then we'll see our way forward, and you'll know. So the opposition is not weak. Now, I know in Parliament, for example, that the opposition has not been effective. Parliament, I think, has not been effective because of poor leadership in Parliament. And I think that's something that needs to be reviewed by the DPP. Our government systems, I don't think they were broken. I don't know what they're really talking about. I think everything was intact when they got in. I think there are always a few things in government that machinery sometimes don't work very well. But to say it was broken, I don't think it's true. If it was broken, then let them fix it. So far, we haven't seen anything that they have fixed, and therefore there are nothing broken. You can't fix it if it ain't broke, as the Americans say. So I don't think it was broken. On the third issue, reducing presidential powers, it's a good point. We did that. My government, for example, passed the Access to Information Acts, for example. We did that. I signed the Political Parties Act, which reduces the powers of the parties, get obligations. Party in terms of sources of funding, etc., etc. We did that, but it's not easy. I know my successor, for example, he told people that he was going to reduce powers. He hasn't. He said that he would accept chancellorship of any university, that he will not accept that. He has. And what other things? He said that he was going to release a convoy from the 10, years of 8 to 10 vehicles. I'm told, I saw on television, when he passed through here, going to Mangoch, the convoy looked like 60 or 70 people. So I don't know whether it's true in terms of using resources. I know when he came here to visit me, he came with 45 people. 45 people came here. They were everywhere on this campus. It was like an invasion. So there is no reduction in terms of people that he was talking about during the campaign. It's one thing, when you're out of the government, it looks so easy. But when you're in there, believe me, it's not easy. It's not easy at all. And you have to think through things very, very carefully. And that's why right now we can't see any direction. Nothing is moved. No single policy has been produced by this government, except inspecting the projects that I did. And I'm glad they're inspecting, that's good. Let them come up with their own policies, because that's what they promised the Malawi people. Thank you. This is another one.
Your Excellency, my name is Lazarus Chakwera from Zodiak. From Zodiak, yes. Two questions. The first one is, from your statement, you appear to have problems with the current government continuing with the projects that you started, but yet this is what governments should do, to continue with the governments. If they are good, if they are not, then you abandon them. Do you really need complete new projects that yours should be abandoned? You should just come out clear on that one. Okay. The second one is, the last time you spoke to us, you said you understood fully the challenges about a government, a president, the presidency. Today is a complete departure. You've attacked your successor hard. Is there a sudden change of heart in how you view this thing? And very lastly, it's about internal party politics. You've tackled that, but the question that has been elusive is within the party, there seem to be other leaders that want the party to go to a convention early than you've maintained that it should be in 2023, and that has caused some problem. Are you intending to revisit that? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Those are very good questions. On the first issue, you say problems with, what do you say? The first one? Yes. Refresh my mind. Yes. You say are the problems with the current government? Oh, yeah, adopting my project. No, I don't have any problems. I'm glad they have. I'm merely saying that they haven't, the problems they are adopting, the one they were criticizing me for the last 6 years. We're going wrong direction. And the same problems now, they're sort of adopted. So I'm saying that is ironic. But no, it's good. It's good to continue because it's a government program. That's why I created the National Planning Commission. So that project should continue. Remember what happened in 2014 when Let Dungu died. The Joyce Manor government stopped all the projects. Mass was stopped. Stadium was stopped. Umozi Park was stopped. I revised those for 2 years, and then we were able to continue. No, because I said they were Bingo's project, and therefore now they're not that these people are trying to whittle down the community technical college because it's my brainchild. But that program is one of the best programs, skills development anywhere in the country, in the world. No country can develop without skilled people. You go to Germany, Italy, you find skilled people there. Italy, kuja material, shoes, whatever, watches, the skills. It's very important for Germany and so forth. Now, they've abandoned that. I think this year they only funded one community college. I think it's very, very sad that they've done that. So, no, I'm not attacking them. I'm merely saying that when they go and Blantyre and said, okay, the existence of this hotel now opening it is an example of job creation. I studied that. I personally negotiated in Anhui, and I said I want 5-star hotel in Blantyre, plus a 20-story building, which I also negotiated, of the business park in Lilongwe, Grand Park. So what I'm saying is, I think they should give credit where due. They should not claim that their projects, including the whole issue of energy, all those things they're talking about from last week in Kulakuja, wherever they went, Salima, those are our projects. I'm just saying give credit where it is due. That's all. Now, on the issue of my successor, you say I've attacked him. Last time, I think that was the one about 6 months into the government. I wanted to give them an opportunity to demonstrate why they wanted to be in the government. And so I decided that I'd step back and watch them to see what policies they're going to implement. Having concluded that have not implemented a single project, now I'm ready to criticize them, to say that they are showing no leadership and vision, and I think that's fair. I think they themselves will agree, really, that there is no direction in this country at the moment. I think everyone, any fair person would agree, including themselves, if they are honest. On the issue of the convention, the present NGC, including myself, were elected on July 2nd, 2018 for 5 years. Under our constitution, convention meets every 5 years to elect new leadership. Now we got out of the government. All I was saying is that let's organize the party. Believe me, and God is my witness, I'm not clinging to this job. I've been president of this party for 9 years, and I'm ready to drop it today. Let someone take over and see how difficult a job it is. Running a party is more difficult than running the government, believe me. It's very difficult. But I'm not clinging to it. I simply said, let's have a proper transition. I can't just drop this, it will be irresponsible. Let's have a proper transition and let's organize a party and we'll have a convention. Now there are some people who claim that I promised them that they'll become leaders. I cannot promise a leader. This is not a monarchy. This is a democracy. I cannot create a leader or choose a leader. The people will decide. I never promised anybody that I'm going to be the next president of the DPP. Never. I never did that. That's not how I operate. But some people themselves misguided themselves. So what I'm saying is, we'll have a convention. But let's look at the review report that now has come. We'll do proper evaluation. In many cases, there are no people. If a convention today, who's going to be elected college? In many cases, since this party was formed in 2005, some people have died, some people have left, all sorts of things have happened. There are so many gaps in the party. Who are going to be the delegates to the convention? We need to fill in all those positions. They don't have a convention. So, I say those who are rushing so much, sometimes my grandma, I'm not going to kamata manga, or someone who so goes young and up. So, I'm going miala, uza puntwa. You must look in fear, not in front. So, some people are rushing too much. Remember, Nkhani Kalundi Kamba, Mukizwa? Maybe you are too young. For the Kalundi Kamba, they're competing, eh? They come Karua Matama Nukuyenda Tamo Gona Binabai. Two over me. Kamba Kubia great. Woman would have gone at all, let him say. Great. By the time I was looking at Kalu Tamaga, of the body Kamba Africa good destination. So, in life, one has to be careful. Sometimes rushing too much may not necessarily let you win the race. Thanks for your questions. Okay, let's have the third question.
Your Excellency, my name is Christe Gomani from Capital FM.
Gomani?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, from Capital FM.
Okay.
Mine are two questions. Okay. When the President Chakwera came to visit you, or since that time, has he engaged you on governance issues? For instance, you pointed out that he is failing to walk the talk after the promises he made. Has he asked you anything, any tip in terms of how we can be doing things right? And the other question, you also indicated that after the fresh elections, you did not want to go to court because you knew that you wouldn't get justice. But recently, after the court said ruled out some of the 4 commissioners which you appointed, 4 commissioners, we have seen that the DPP has challenged that to the courts. Why now? Thanks.
Thank you very much. On the first issue, yeah, I think we have spoken once since we was here in December. But other than that, we have not spoken, have not been in touch. On the second issue, commissioners, well, I think the reason why DPP decided to go to court now, because the commissioners, the government itself decided that these commissioners were illegally appointed And therefore, technically, actually, there was no commission to actually declare somebody a winner. And we thought that, I think, legal opinion, according to experts, both inside and outside Malawi, feel that, in fact, the president was invalidly declared a winner and want the court to decide on that. On the basis of that, it's obviously an illegal president, and we're waiting for the court to decide. So it's a different situation. I think the situation of the Electoral Commission, it was so clear that the decision was wrong. It was so clear. We had over 7 groups, African Union, United Nations, US, COMESA, Zodiak, all of them, European Union, all of them thought the election was free, fair, and credible. They all and transparent. They all said that. So there was really, now the thing about irregularities, any election, whether it's in America or Russia, there will always be irregularities because of dealing with human beings. They make mistakes in addition here and there, subtraction, it happens all the time. And the court itself decided that the irregularities did not affect the outcome of the election. And so they went ahead and nullified. Why? What are the reasons? Why did they nullify? That's a real contradiction. I think they did disservice to the country and also the jurisprudence of this country. It doesn't matter I left. I couldn't care less. I don't have to be president. The life after the presidency, but I'm concerned about what happened. And the president that was clear, declared that there will never be then a valid election in this country, because every election there will be an irregularity. Just a fact that happens all the time. So I'm concerned about the country, not for me. I couldn't care less. You know, for 74 years, I was not the president of this country. I had all sorts of jobs, which were even, well, but anyway, I'm back now to academia, basically. I'm on my way out of politics. As soon as I hand over at the convention, I'm out of politics. I'm going back to reading and writing and things that I've done for 40 years of my life, the various universities in the world. I've got invitations, go and give international lectures. So far, over 6 invitations, just because of the COVID that said, let's wait a little bit. So that's what happened. So that's why I did not challenge. And also, I didn't want really, we're 10 months over that destruction of the country. You saw in the paper this week that the country lost 1.2 trillion because of all those stupid demonstrations. And I didn't want another 10 months of demonstration. It wasn't good for this country. So we decided, all us meeting at Sanjika Palace, George, you were there, and we decided that we're going to let it go, and we're leaving. So I left. That's what happened. Yes.
Your Excellency, sir, my name is Cheka Ndege from Cheka Ukutu Ndege.
Cheka Ukutu?
Yeah, Ndege from Radio Islam.
From which?
Radio Islam.
Oh, Radio Islam, okay.
Yes, yes. Allow me to ask my question in Chichewa.
Okay.
Bwana President, mu kuyankhula kwanu mwatchula zinthu zambiri zomwe mwaona kuti boma la tonse mu chaka chimene chichi lalephera. Timafuna tizoti mu zonse zomwe zaoneka kuti zolepherapo mwina palibe chinthu chimodzi kapena ziwiri zomwe zikuoneka kuti apopo mbali yawo achitako bwino. Komanso funso leni kuti pa chaka chimene chathachi mutakhala kuti mwapasiro mwayi ngati kuti mphunzitsi tikuchonga boma limene lili mungalipase malikisa ngati kapena kuti magiredi angati zomwe mbiri.
Zokambiri funso limene labwino kwambiri ndakita criticize zosiyana. Koma honestly, ine singachite rate. I don't know unaona magazine Pan-African Vision. Did you see my interview? The June version of Pan-African Vision magazine. based in Washington. Honestly, I've like the struggle with Indonesia, I'll just be very honest, I'm sorry. I may be wrong, Kabanda, Koma Palibekimina Chita, just so far on the Guchuna Gunda Chite, Marx Bakaripan. What did he get next year? This is a conference, Tita Mezuli said this is a conference, press conference, every month. Capital means 6 from here. This is not Chibina, I cheat. Exactly, I can do this part, Marx. Kapakali Pano, I Snipeka Marx. I think need to suspend. Tidikire, could I take him with more chow? Could it your neke? And they, yeah, Alose Zao, yeah, Alose Zao, Losan Zanu, could it your honor? And they, Mukazmezo, Tukupas and Mamarikis, Kopalipano, I, it's the Kupas side. Oh, tomorrow? Okay, no problem.
Ine dzina langa ndi Yohani Simon.
NBC
Times.
Oh yes, yes.
Yes, Times, yes. Your Excellency, elsewhere, former president, that is maybe including in America where we have been for a long time, former presidents, they act as advisors to the sitting president of current administration. After noticing that things are not going on well in the country, have you at any time tried to reach to the current administration to offer some kind of advice on how they can change the things so that they can go in the right direction? As you have said that most of whatever they are doing are some of the projects which were initiated by the Dpp government. You have indicated that they are maybe failing to advance because they are using some of the policies which are not their own policies. Have you at any time tried to reach to him, to the President Chakwera, maybe offering the advice on how we can change these things? Thank you very much.
You know what, I have to respect the presidency. I know he never respected me. He was contemptuous of me. He despised me. But I have to respect the office of president, because it's an important office. It embodies this nation. So I can't go to the president and say, look, in fact, we can advise. No, I can't do that. I think that would be overreach myself. But if he asks for advice, I'm ready to give it. Some of you, your president, I think on 25th, when I left, after the election, I left for Mangochi. I offered olive hand, couldn't be ready. Anytime, after, assistant, help, advice, Nipeka advice, government. They have not asked for advice so far. So, in a Singapore, so I respect the presidency. In spite of his contempt for me, I respect him because he holds that important office of president. And therefore, I will only offer advice if he asks me. If he doesn't, I won't. I think that's one more? Okay. Oh, okay. Fine. No problem.
Your Excellency, I'm Blessings Kaimira, Angariba TV and Radio.
Kadiela?
Kaimila.
Oh, Kaimila.
Yes.
What station?
Angariba TV and Radio.
Oh, Angariba, Puja ni Fawe. Rodrick Monya.
Yes, yes.
Oh.
Yeah, see. All right, I'm having two questions. The first question is on the stableness of the party. Malawians may want to know how stable the party is. I understand the party had some challenges. Right now, do you have the time to talk to the people, especially those who are calling for area conversions, and hear their grievances? From there, you have also explained about the relationship that you have with the UDF. Most of the functions that that DPP are doing, there's no presence of UDF officials. So Malawians may also want to know how the relationship right now is with the UDF party. Thank you.
Thank you. They're very good questions. The first one, how stable is the DPP? You know, I think the party is stable. But in every party, there are always differences. There are always factions. Even in Western democracies, the Republican Party in America, you have seen the divisions there. Democratic Party in America, you have seen the divisions there. The Republican Party in America, they've even moved the number 3 person, the lady, Liz Cheney, because she was opposing Trump. So it happens in every country, in every party. There are some differences. Here, we are trying to stabilize as I said earlier. First of all, we'll have a review, study review, and the Central Committee will meet. After that, the National Governing Council will meet, and then we'll decide our way forward. So we'll reunite the party. I really don't know what the hurries are. What saying? Even during the campaign, even when we're in government, I say that Sanjika Palace, many times that would have a convention in 2083, that we should wait a little bit, and they'll have the convention then, and the party will move forward. But it always happens when a party loses election. Remember in 2012, after the former President Bingu died, the party almost died. Everyone left, Secretary General left, First Vice President left, 111 MPs out of 140 we had left. We only had the 33 in Parliament. And it took really the leadership of Honorable Chaponda here to fight the PP government in Parliament. When we had only so few people there. But the people started coming back. By the time we had election 2014, they built the party. We were 99 members of Parliament. Now, these people who are talking, some of them are new. They don't know what we went through in 2012 to 2014. They have no idea what it took to build this party back. We're facing PP, tear gas everywhere. You all know that. Imprisonments and so forth. It wasn't easy. And yet we managed to rebuild the party. Now, this time, some of these tweets, I don't think they even know what it takes to rebuild the party. We need time to build this party. We're studying the report, and then we'll rebuild the party. So the party is stable. It's a question of time. Now, election UDF. We have a very good relationship with UDF. In fact, last night I had a very long talk with Honorable Dpp Molozi over a number of issues. I believe we spoke for almost 1 hour. And I told him that he is aware that I'm coming to have this press conference and so forth. So our relationship remains cordial with the president of the party, a very decent gentleman, I must say, a very decent young man. And I'll continue to work with him. And I'm sure he probably also will want us to work together in the future. So our relationship is still very, very cordial. Yeah. Okay.
Your Excellency, my name is Precious Malemba. I represent Galaxy Radio.
Okay.
My question is Tonse administration has clocked 1 year, and we have seen or witnessed arrest galore, and some of them are involving DPP leaders and the supporters. The party has been saying it's a political witch hunt, but the Tonse administration has been dismissing it, saying there are serious allegations. What do you say to that? And the second question is coming from the people, not from me. They are asking, when are they going to see APM at a political rally?
Oh, rally. Okay. Do they want to see me? Okay, that's great. I'm flattered by that. Because I miss them too now. Now, on the first issue of the arrest, I think what about Japan, touch on this. This is a very serious matter. I think, in their so-called high five, they have the fifth point is the rule of law. Among the so-called high five points that Dr. Chakwera has been announcing. Now, rule of law. The rule of law means following procedures. Now, when you arrest people, and you say all the people being arrested are either from the south or from the east. Now, how come only people from the south and from the east break the law, and people from the other regions don't break the law? There must be something funny about it. So when they arrest people without real charges, and I think that's the problem, is that you get them in social media, or you get the HRDC or somebody, say, we walk over menu, go and arrest him. And they go and arrest somebody. Sometimes they have no evidence. Sometimes they cannot charge the people because they don't have evidence against them. Now, the way it works, in any legal system, Kanjaku Russia, Kayaku Nigeria, Kayaku Kayaku China, Kurikonse, Pazikonsa Pansi. First of all, Mafufuza, you investigate, you find what the facts are, then on the basis of those facts, you charge a person. But you don't charge a person first, and then later on, you don't have them. A good example, our case, the case, is a good example where they could not charge us. Because the first day I charged the first charge, and after that, everything was going downhill. They never charged us with anything, all those months of torture going through to the courts. So what I'm saying is, I think it's very important that since the rule of law is one of their so-called high five points, that people's rights should be respected. We are all Malawians, by the way. We're all children of God. And I feel really, really very sad when actually the president calls some people rabble. No person can be Chinyawa or rabble. We're all God's children. And I hope that kind of talk, that kind of attitude can stop. Now, coming to this particular issue you have raised, and therefore, I think they need to make sure that people have actually broken the law, investigate those, and secondly, there should be no selective investigations. I think they're investigating people in the previous government. I think people in this government also must be investigated. Because the allegations we know about, they're out there. That must also be investigated. You cannot have selective justice. The same thing they accuse us of, they're doing exactly the same. So I think that's need to. On the second issue, Marali, I'm ready. I can't miss Marali. But at the moment you have COVID, that's what we decided as a party, that we should have these regular conferences like this one we have today, maybe once a month, so I communicate to the Malawi people. Ready, as soon as the COVID thing ends, I'm ready to go out there for Malawi, and I want to tell Malawi that I've not left you, I've not abandoned you. As I said on that fateful day, on April 27, 2012 at Indada, I said that Malawians, I'll never leave you. I have the option of going back to America. My children are there. My property is there. My grandchildren are there. And my job is there. I'm still on the faculty of Washington University. I come back tomorrow. But there's no way I'll never leave this country. As I said there, I said there, I'll stand and fall on Malawi society. There is nobody I fear. And if somebody thinks I'll fear them, they're kidding themselves. I only fear God, and God is my protector. So let me end here. I think I've finished all the questions. Andrew, thanks so much, ladies. I'm sorry, there's no lady, one lady. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for coming. I'm always glad to see you, and I'm hoping that we can continue this on a regular basis, and maybe once a month, and we can communicate through you to the Malawi people, and please try to communicate fairly. Recently, there was a report in Yasser Times. There are 3 stories. The first one involved immigration, something case where they quoted me. They had never spoken to me. The second one was also involving something, or the second one was about me not signing some document to do with the British government on health, cattle by horse spending. They never talked to me, but they quote me. And the one yesterday, they say there was a clip, you have seen it 2 days ago, Yasser Times, where they caught me. And all those 3 cases, they never spoke to me. I think it's very important, you journalists, that you should be truthful and fair, because you have the power and the platform. We don't have. Therefore, your word out there, people see something in writing, they believe it, no matter where it's wrong or not. So it's very, very important for the media to be fair in your reporting and to be accurate. The 3 instances that I mentioned about Yasser Times were unfortunate. But in all those 3 cases, they never talked to me. So it's very important, and I'm sure that they're not going to repeat what they did. So thank you again. In conclusion, ngoti ngosanga kwambiri kuti nonse mwabwera zati ona mupitirize kubwera kuno tizikumana kapena mwezi uliwonse Amalawi kwa Amalawi ndikuze nikuti musa don't lose hope. If you're DPP tesa kwambiri kutandiza iziko ma program nachita DPP ofunika kwambiri ena gama nikupiriza zimenzabwino kwambiri kwamesa pitiriza ife likabwera mboma pa 2025 ma program onse zabwezanso kaza ma community college za chanya program itinamba ife zapitiriza choncho Malawi ezimo kwambiri asina kuthawanine siza kutawani mpaka muyaya choncho ambuya kudalisa nonse ezimo kwambiri. Thank you.
Your Excellency, ndi akuluakulu onsachipani komanso a media team nonse muli pano malo mwa chipani cha DPP tafuna tikuthokozeni chifukwa cha kuyankhula ku mtundu wa Malawi. Amalawi ndithu kunjaku amakufunana akumveni amene tinati mafoni apa anthu akuthokoza kwambiri kuti mafuna adadi chifukwa bwana inu si a president iswe koma adadi athu ndeti kuthokozeni mmene mwatilonjezera kuti pakakhala nthawi muzicheza bendi ma reporters komanso kukumana ndi anthu izichitira ubwino zikomo kwambiri bwana.
Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you all for coming. God bless you all. Zikomo kwambiri. Thank you. Thank you all. God bless. Thank you for me.
Yes.
Thank you. You all travel well, my colleagues.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
That's the conclusion of the press briefing that the former president Peter Mutharika had here at Page House, that's at his house in Mangochi. It was a press briefing that lasted close to 2 hours, and he talked about several issues that he feels are happening in the country in terms of governance by the Tose-led administration, as well as also issues to do with his own party, the Democratic Progressive Party, DPP. With me here is our reporter, Raphael Mlozowa. Raphael, you were here. What were some of the highlights of the press briefing that former President Mutharika talked about?
Yes, true. Former President Peter Mutharika has talked a lot of issues, but maybe in summary, as you have said, he said this government has lost direction. It doesn't have any policy or leadership direction, and said the 1 year that the Tose Alliance has been in power, there's nothing that he can say that they have done. He even said he cannot score them or rate them on what they have done, because as they have done something, it's finishing what his government started. So Mutharika said Malawians are getting more poorer than they were. Things are not working. That's what he said. Yes, maybe he said he has torn apart the Tose government in this 1 year.
Yes, so he talked about issues like governance. He claimed that the Tose government has stolen over 23 billion kwacha COVID funds and then is diverting attention. And there were also questions that were asked by journalists. What were your responses to some of the questions? If you can just highlight some of the key ones very briefly.
Yeah, the first one was what I've just said, that he was asked maybe to lead the Tose government in the past year, what they have done, because in his speech it was like this government has done nothing. So somebody asked, do you think they have done something that you can say? And they read them. Maybe 1 out of 10 said, there's nothing that I can. Maybe they should do something so that I can come back and read them. But currently they have done nothing. And he also mentioned something about apart from the corruption of economy. He said this government is in a diplomatic crisis. Said apart from making friends with other countries, as the situation was in the past, this country now, it seems like it's an enemy to some of the countries that are crucial to the economy of the country. He mentioned of South Africa, saying what happened recently in South Africa, that should not be the way to go. He mentioned about Mozambique. Yeah, so he said it's like they have lost direction. They don't know what to do. He also mentioned about the leadership in his party. People asked, where are you going with the party? Because it seems there's a lot of confusion. So he said the party is intact in the grassroots. It was only a few individuals on the top level.
I found it interesting when he also talked about that the party is particularly weak in parliament because of the leadership there. I think it was a hint towards the leader of opposition, who is also the second vice president of the Party for the South, who ironically is the leader of the opposition in parliament.
Very true, because this is why he said the grassroots is intact, the party is intact. It's only a few individuals at the top that are bringing this confusion, but DPP is there, and he has hinted that DPP will come back come 2025. Because everything is intact, and he said he is not clinging to power. He will hand over the power, but at a convention, and after that he will come out from the stage. He will not continue with politics. He will go back to his odd jobs, the academy.
That's our Raphael Mlozowa. Thank you very much, Raphael. Many ndilongana wati Raphael Mlozowa tikutera kuti kumene tikulankhulira kuno ndi pamalo pamene pamachitikira pa khonde la nyumba imene ya Prince Mtsogoleri wakale wa dziko lino Peter Mutharika amene nditsogolera chipani chimene cha Democratic Progressive DPP amene amachitisa msonkhano wa Nkhani kuno kumangochi ku nyumba kwa mati Page House ndipo makambapo nkhani zingapo za mmene dziko likuyendera in terms of ulamuliro mmene boma limene lipo likuyendetsera komanso makambapo nkhani zokhudzana ndi mmene chipani cha DPP chilili padakali pano kambapo nkhani zokhudzana zi pali ngati pena kusamvetsetsana kapena kusagwirizana pakati pa utsogoleri wa chipani chimenechi anakambaponso nkhani imeneyo. Rafa Mlozowa mwachidule kwambiri tafotokozapo mfundo ziwiri zitatu zimene zinamanga nthenje pano.
Madam munatene ngati muchataneneraso mchingerezi kunena kuti chachikulu chimene president wakale amene Peter Mutharika wanena nchonena kuti boma limene lilipo panoli likuoneka kuti lilibe kolowera likusowa chochita asili kudziwa chimene likupanga tinene choncho nenapo zambiri kunena kuti nkhani zachuma zapita pansi akayang'ana maubale a dziko lino ndi mayiko ena zikuoneka kuti sizikuyenda akambapo nkhani za kayendesedwe kachuma kunena kuti kuba kwachuluka miyoyo ya anthu kupita pansi akambapo za mchipani mwawo kunena kuti anthu akakuona ngati kuti chipani cha DPP sichikuyenda bwino kuli mkangano kumanena kuti ayi chipanichi kwa anthu amene amachisatira zinthu zikuyenda bwino kwambiri amene akuonetsa kuti chipanichi chikuvuta ndi akulu ena ochepa chabe amene akuonetsa ngati akugwedegwede koma nkhani zonse ndithu akamba kwambiri za mmene kuti boma likuyendera anafunsidwa funso kuti mina mwake mutakhala ngati kuti mwapasidwa mpata mukhali ngati mphunzitsi kuti muli chonge boma limeneli kuti mwina 1 pa 10 mulungu alipase malikisa ngati anena kuti sangapereke malikisana lonse chifukwa chonena kuti palibe chimene achita mwina agwireka ntchito aone kuti apanga chani chifukwa ngati pali zina zimene apangako boma limeneli latonse ndiye kuti ndi kungomalizitsa zina zimene iwo anayamba koma kuti so zambiri zachitukuko zayima.
Chabwino vanalibe mawu pachigirezi no kind words for the Tonse government from the former president Peter Mutharika during his press briefing here at Page House in Mangochi. No comment yet, understandably, from government authorities who will be seeking their reaction to the issues that have been raised here, and they will be coming to you in our subsequent editions of News Bulletin right here on Zodiac. But from here in Mangochi, on behalf of the entire outside broadcast team, we had Sam Guiramwendo, we had McNeil Bema, we had Matthias Makasu, as well as Rafa Mlozowa, our reporter. On behalf of the whole team, from me, Madali Topiri, it's bye for now.
Baka mwana kupata chifukwa chanuka pyozera zingombingo miando yomwe uvinira nyimbo yangai Sigolina yawaza kufunza miando nakupata una unkapala sira kokabera antu komaide inandi nsembe ya matamando komaide inandi nsembe ya matamando musandi uze ndikalepe apo bimi ala isokosa sindikala pe apo bimi ala isokosa pano egodeshami ala isokosa pano isokosa pano iguti emi ala isokosa pano isokosa pano egodeshami ala ilalanda pano ilalanda pano iguti omi ala ilalanda pano mi ala ilalanda pano mbuzi, uli achina ngombe, uli achina makoswe, uli achina mbalame, uli achina mpaka, uli achina garu, uli achina chenche, uli achina ngombe. Ina ndi machita chidwe ndi mwala, uli mwala ulibe pakamwa, koma kudzayang'ana mbuzi ili kukamwa yasa.